Hello there and welcome, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee, and today I am going to be doing another craft fair make. Now this make is just a very simple stocking with a white fur top, which is going to fold over, and I'm going to use this sort of soft hessian, which is ideal for other people, not myself, to go away and do cross stitch on. Yeah, so what I'm doing is not necessarily a kit, but a kind of do it yourself start off make thing. And yeah, so I'm basically just making a stocking, and yeah, so I am measuring up the pre-cut stocking, and I want it slightly wider. This is so that it sort of flops over, and I'm just literally going to cut along the edge here. Now I suppose I've done sort of 8 inches down because I want a nice sort of fluffy fur type sock. Yeah, so that's what I've got. My sock, my tube. So I need to sew this together and then turn it inside out and then sew it onto the sock. So I'm going to use the overlocker for this just because it gives a nice professional finish, and well, and I have one. So you can do it with a sewing machine, of course, you can do it with hand stitches. So let's just check that this is working. So all I'm doing now is sewing the 2 sides of the fur that are going to be the sock. And they're right side to right side, and I'm going to turn that inside out. Now all I'm doing now is I'm sewing the 2 edges of this hessian right side to right side, and I'm just going to literally sew all the way round. And these are great, you know, things like this you can sell in like multiples of 10, and they literally are. You know, not everybody wants to take the time to do these basic ideas, but they do want to take the time in decorating them. So I'm just coming round here. Either the machine's being really quiet or it's going really slowly. I haven't worked that one out yet. So let's tidy up my loose ends. Now what I need to do is I need to turn everything inside out, and then I'm going to fold this into 2. There we are. And same again, I'm going to turn this inside out. And I'm going to push it out now because it will just look that much neater. So there we are. I'm going to take the sock, I'm going to call it a sock, stocking, and I'm going to take the 2 layers of fur, and I am going to make sure that I'm not catching anything at the back. Okay, now all I've done is put it under the foot. That's all I'm going to do for now, and I'm going to adjust it slightly so that I have the far end of this, and I'm going to put a pin in it. Now this pin is to match up with this other seam, so it's a good idea because otherwise if you do have any gathering that you need to take up, then you want it to be done sort of throughout the sew rather than a big clump at the end. So what I'm doing now is I have my fingers on the stocking and I am almost pushing an inch of fabric for every half an inch of sews. And I'm going to give it loads of time because what I do want to do is for it to cut it. And it's having trouble. So I'm just going to assist it by taking off some of the excess. Okay. Now I haven't adjusted the stitches at all, so you know it's worthwhile considering that. There is a lot of difference between sewing the quite thin sack material to sewing the fur and the sack material. Okay, so I'm stuffing now my sock top in my stocking and I am just continuing to sew round. Obviously making sure that I've got all 3 bits of fabric. I've got the fabric underneath and that's catching. And also that I've got nothing tucked up underneath, which can happen. So we're just coming to the end now. And there we go. You can hear the foot clicking off the end of the fabric. So let's get this all unsewn. There we are. So, and I can just tidy up the excesses with a pair of scissors and of course finish the ends. Okay, all I need to do now is fold that over so that it covers the seam. And there we are. And what I would do is I would put this on a stool and I would maybe do one decorated and then I would do this one like this, so that they know that they can buy multiples of the plain one, but there is one with a couple of embroidery, maybe a name embroidered on there, just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so there we are, a very easy to do stocking, and you can sell this in multiples. You'll find that people will just dive for them. That's the thing about craft fairs, that they look at your stuff and they want a kit rather than not necessarily a kit from the beginning, but you know, they're after ideas the same as we would be. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee.